right, this is what we got to work with, starting with sanding it today. It accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. I got a good coat of clear on here. I probably filled some of the more minor things. The more major ones are going to have to be white because you probably can't sand and clear this thing enough to really fill some of these really deep pits and issues, especially around the jet bumpers and stuff. It'll be non-stop trying to do that. Now I'm sure when I sand it, because this will be the first time I can truly aggressively sand it, a lot of these post holes will sand through and it's gonna look a whole lot worse before it looks any better. So that's just to be expected. And what I'm primarily looking for right now is just getting a good solid surface to paint off of, getting my inserts good and level, making sure all that stuff is worth painting. Because if I don't get them level and I start painting on them, I'm just gonna sand right through them later in the process. But no doubt I got my work cut out for me over here. I'm just gonna get started doing it because it's not going anywhere until it gets done. And so my primary interest is getting it done. All right, we'll move it over there and start sanding on it and see what it looks like. Pretty much it there. Let's do our kind of cosmetic structure things. We got a chip right here in this. I'm just gonna kind of run around and wipe the chips. I'm gonna try to be really careful when I assemble it. The only thing I need to make it through when I do these kind of repairs, like around these barbed wire forms that I pulled out, when I do these kind of repairs with this stuff, I'm not worried about them holding up, or I wouldn't do it. But I need to be careful when I'm putting it together. That's where I got to be most careful, knowing it's got, filler in there. There's nothing good that you're going to put in there. Hell, the wood didn't stay in there. You know what I mean? So it's like, there's no perfect way to fix it, but we want it to look good. So let's make it look good, and then we'll deal with it from there. All right, that's some of it. Knock this stuff down. Everything should be pretty flat now. And I don't have to wipe everything I wiped the first time because some of that has been fixed. But some of it still needs some work. All right, let me sand this thing without anything on me so I can just really scrutinize what I'm doing. I have this final little bit of filler that I'm gonna wipe this time around. If I wipe any more, it'll be later in the process, but it's the last thing I'm gonna wipe before I start painting. let me clean up a couple of these edges, and that's gonna be what we got to work with. Gonna grab this roll of masking film, and I'm just gonna lay it on the Playfield. I think I'm probably gonna start with the wood tones. That's probably the best place to start. When I'm doing these wood tones, I'm going to see if I can match this flesh tone, the lighter one, because I feel like they're similar colors. They're not the same color, but I can usually get by with cutting out two of the same colors if they're similar and then strategically masking it. And it's an easy transition from my paint gun. Shit, we're going everywhere we said we weren't gonna go. This is why I don't like these jobs, because I know what's gonna happen. I know me. I'm gonna wind up doing it. Even if I said I wasn't gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. I think if I can get his, his body looking about right, as far as like all these flesh tones and stuff, and get rid of as much of this ball swirl as I can, I think it's going to help this thing a lot, because it's so in your face down here at the bottom. It's going to be real hard to ignore no matter how good the rest of it looks. I can do with that. Alright, we did all that. You know what else we gotta do? We gotta do it up here. It's probably as good as that's gonna get. Alright. Start with the flesh tone first. We'll do that. Alright, that's the flesh tone. I'll let that set for a few minutes, and then I'll tape it off to where when I do the wood tone it won't blow over on there. it didn't really matter to me if a little of that blew over to the wood tone, because it's gonna, you know, it's gonna cover it pretty well, but I don't want the opposite. It's the best I can do with that without just painting it tan, you know what I mean? You don't want to just paint it tan. All right, there's the wood tone repaint. So the idea is to be able to see the wood tone still through it, not just paint it tan. Now it was really dark in the highway areas, so just kind of camouflaging it. We don't want to just flat out ruin it. This might need some more work later. It's a little bit open green, but I don't want to get into that quite yet. It gets a little more tan looking up here towards the top because we have so much cracking and greening. But again, the idea is just to camouflage it. If you try to paint it, it's just gonna look like tan paint. So we can't do that, but I think it's got a pretty good look. We are ready to unmask this thing and see what we got to work with here. Unmask it from here. All right, there it is, fully unmasked. Wood tones look good. You can still see the grain in there. Didn't fully. If you can still see the line where the rail used to be, then that's a good indicator to you that, okay, yeah, it's not just painted tan or something like that. You can still see through it. Flesh tones look really good. Good match on that. And of course, when I'm able to get into the other color on the next round, then I may try to do it now. We'll see. And this looks really good. I mean, there's a little hint of the old color behind where I couldn't quite get in there, but what I'll do is I'll go in there with a brush with that paint and brush that in. So that looks good. That really helped a lot. Between that, doing the other color on his body, and then painting the black, I think that's gonna be the biggest like overall facelift, and then we'll get into details. All right, I think I'm gonna do the white next. Get that out of the way. I'm definitely not gonna do the white in his shorts. That'll just have to stay there. It's just too much. The stars, I guess I can do those, or at least do some of those, or maybe could even make a little template for that. This I'm not fooling with. The signage, that probably not. All right, that's where I'm at right now. Wood tones repainted, the lighter flesh tone repainted. I saw some people talking about magic eraser and alcohol. Yeah, I've used that before. That does work, but some of these things I already know when I look at them, like, yeah, there's no hope for that thing. I'm gonna be painting it anyway, because regardless of the ground and dirt here and there, you got the wear and the expansion crack. So it's just, you know, I know what I'm dealing with. It's just almost a total repaint to get it to where I need it to be. You know, not just passable, but it needs to be at a high level. So this stuff looks really good. The lighter color flesh tone, that turned out really good. You can see that even without the clear, you can see that looks a lot better. All the white looks good. I would like to do these, but it's, you know, there's just no way that you're gonna cut each and every one of these letters out. What you're gonna do is cut them in strips. And I might do that if I feel like I should later, but I'm gonna probably just see how it looks after I clear it. But tomorrow I'm going to paint the black. That'll give it the next biggest facelift. And depending on how my colors are stacking, I may be able to catch this second flesh tone. If I can catch this second flesh tone in the black, I think that'll be where I want to be before I clear it for the second time. And then we'll start really getting into the details, like the insert borders, the yellow, you know, all the little details, the red, the blue, all that. But we'll see what I get into tomorrow first.